before we open it up specifically for questions, to talk for a second about suicide and suicide prevention. So I am going to share a few slides. It'll be pretty quick, but I think this is an important element for where we want to finish up tonight. So Tabitha, just let me know if the right slide is showing. Is it correct? September is Suicide Prevention Month. Thank you.
Yes.
So feelings of isolation, depression, anxiety, and other emotional stresses are known to raise the risk for suicide. Teens may be more likely to experience these feelings during a crisis like a pandemic, but families are key, and families can provide stability and support to help teens feel better. The University of Washington has a department called the Forefront Suicide Prevention Center, and Forefront has identified an acronym that can help us respond to people when they're experiencing these feelings of isolation, depression, anxiety, or other stresses, right? And the acronym they developed is LEARN. It stands for look for signs, empathize and listen, ask directly, reduce the dangers, and next steps. So for L, look for signs. The things you want to look for are changes in personality, outlook on life, if a person is having sleep issues, withdrawing from friends and hobbies, feeling hopeless, anxious, angry, or depressed. Or if someone is expressing that they feel like a burden to others, if they're experiencing self-harm or cutting, if they're giving away possessions, or if they're talking or joking about death. The E stands for empathize and listen. Just wanting to encourage listening with compassion. Show the person that you care by giving them your full attention. Acknowledge their pain and accept their feelings without judgment. Repeating back what they tell you and then saying something like, I'm really sorry that you're going through this. And people who are struggling with this have often said that just listening is one of the most helpful things that they experience. They talk about A, which means ask directly. The experts agree that asking about suicide will not plant this idea in someone's mind. So sometimes we avoid asking directly, but the research is showing after interviews with people who have attempted suicide or who have had suicidal thoughts, that directly asking them does not plant the idea in their mind. And so we want to ask in a way that invites an honest answer. And you can mention signs that you've noticed, be calm, be direct, say the word suicide. And an example might be, sometimes when people feel hopeless and alone, they are thinking about suicide. Are you thinking about suicide? The R stands for reduce the dangers. Lock up or remove firearms, remove items that can end a life. So for example, firearms are the most lethal means of suicide. You want to make sure if you do have firearms in your home that they're locked up. Medications are the most widely used in suicide attempts. The N stands for next steps. So call 911 or go to the emergency room right away. Call the Suicide Prevention Lifeline, or if you prefer to text, you can text the word HEAL to 741-741. It's so hard to talk about suicide, but I think what's really important is to emphasize that families and educators, we can take a huge step in preventing suicides by using an acronym like LEARN, right? This is another way for us to partner with each other and to support our kids. So it is a tough thing to talk about, but I think really important. And that's kind of the end of our formal presentation,